Hey everyone, Jason and Eric here bringing you another market update. We're in September, we're going to talk about the August stats, and we're at our newest listing here in Scotts Valley, 770 Pinecone Drive, killer single family house, 1,700 square feet. Can't wait to show it to you. Let's go inside. Updated kitchen, bathrooms, just a great living space here. You've got, vaulted wood beam ceilings, completely renovated kitchen, all stainless steel appliances, just totally ready to roll. So if you're looking for something in Scotts Valley, great schools, awesome views, close to Henry Cowell State Park, this is a property for you. Check it out here, the information's below. What can you tell us about what's happened so far this year?
So the thing, I feel like we've now said this almost every market update, right? Or every market watch, is that prices have kind of stayed flat. Everything's just kind of cruising along. And we know a lot of times in an election year, we'll actually see that, and that's nationwide or in a lot of markets nationwide.
Good call.
We kind of just see this steady, everyone's kind of not sure what's going on. We don't know what's going on with interest rates, which we'll talk about in a minute because there's big announcements coming about that soon, but it's just kind of moving along. So our prices are still sitting just above 1.2 million. That's all residential countywide.
Okay.
So that's all the way from Watsonville up to San Lorenzo Valley, condos, everybody included in that.
Okay.
But average days on market sits right above that 30 mark. And so if people haven't paid attention to our other ones, yeah, a couple years ago, days on market was like 11. We could list something on Tuesday, have it sold by the next Wednesday, basically. Now things have slowed down to what we kind of expect as like an average market. Okay. Just a very well balanced, not heavily seller, not heavily buyer influence market. Just right down the middle. Sellers are still able to get great prices. So we hit the peak of prices, that was April 2022. Okay. As we hit the peak of prices, then interest rates started to slow that down. We're only down about 10% from that now. Whereas at one point we came down like 20-25%, but that's now, we've just seen this gradual rise over the last year to that 1.2 million.
Yeah, and I guess consumer confidence, right? I mean, everybody's finally saying, hey, this is the rates we got to live with, and we're just seeing, prices are holding. I mean, definitely affordability is an issue, and I think we'll get to that in a minute here with some of these numbers. But it is, it's basically what we're seeing is just, it's more balanced, and people are like, okay, it is what it is. I do need to move. I do need to upgrade. I do need to downsize, whatever their situation may be. That's what we're seeing out there.
We're seeing a lot more of that now, right? Is that it really felt like a whole year, the only people that were really selling were ones where they were in kind of a bit more of a forced sale. They had to move.
Right, job change or something.
They inherited a property. They were getting divorced. Things that really forced these sales. Whereas now, even now that interest rates, we've been sitting around that 6.5% up to 7% kind of floating in there for over a year now. That really kind of eased up on some people to say, okay, you know what, we've heard stories, people just moved across the street. Or we just had one where they changed even counties. They moved from Santa Clara County to Santa Cruz County, upgraded their home, gave up their 2.5% interest rate to take one that right around 6%. Right, and so we're really starting to see that a lot more now. We hear those stories even from other agents a lot now of people saying, yep, like we're just gonna go, we're not gonna continue to wait to see what happens.
Totally. The other thing I wanna bring up is the number of sales. I mean, right? Yeah. Everybody you talk to out there, oh yeah, it does feel a little bit slower. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're seeing things move, but there is a slowdown. I mean, as far as the number of sales, right? I guess the number of listings has changed a little bit, but what can you tell us about that?
So the number of listings that we have coming on the market, we're actually now catching back up to what an average year is. Okay. And that's if we're measuring all the way back from like 2014 to kind of that mid-pandemic, like 2022. Okay. Took out 2023 just because it's so recent and it was kind of a wonky year. Right. So you say right up until when we saw the interest rates change. When we look at that, we're actually on about an average year for that. About 3,000 new homes have come on the market, or new listings have come on the market in the county. And so that's good. That's great for buyers. There's a lot of inventory available.
A little more selection. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But not so much that we've tipped the scale into their favor.
Right.
And we do run into problems about, are they the homes that people really want? And that we've seen when a home is dialed in, when the seller has put in the necessary updates and repairs and upgrades.
Up to the kitchen, the bathrooms, the yard's dialed in.
Sometimes some electrical things, roofs is a big one.
True.
Roofs that are caving in, maybe we take care of those.
Right.
Sometimes it's even just freshening it up and just making it feel new and nice when people come in. Those ones are selling quickly. Everything else tends to be sitting, which again, great opportunity for buyers.
Yeah, so that goes back to the marketing, right? Again, so important to make sure that we, take our advice and do these updates as simple as they may be. We can get them done quickly, and it doesn't, and your return is huge as a seller. And as a buyer, talk to us, because there is some opportunity on some we call ugly ducklies out there that you can get a deal on. And if you don't want to put the work in, maybe tie it on cash, there's some great turnkey options out there for you as well. I mean, so I think, the market, what's telling us is, there's fewer sales, about the same amount of inventory, so that may feel like there's a little bit more in the market. But again, it's hard to find that gem that you're really looking for. And that's what we're here for. We're here to show you those.
And that's for now. And this is kind of previewing. This video is coming out just about a week before the new Fed meeting that's coming up. And this is kind of when you look at any headlines, things on social media, everyone kind of seems to be waiting to see what is the Federal Reserve going to do to interest rates. Now, we've been watching that all year, because last year they said, oh, we're going to drop 6 times over the, or the prediction was that they would drop 6 times over the year. They haven't yet. A lot of indication that they're going to possibly do that in September. Now, if everyone assumes they're doing this in September, we know that that means the banks have already said, great. And we've actually seen that interest rate lower from when we were sitting mid 7s. We're now down to like mid 6s. So we're not necessarily, if you're a buyer in the market right now, we're not necessarily thinking that when the Fed does finally say, hey, we're going to
drop a
lower
quarter
that
point
rate
or something,
a
whatever
quarter
it
of
is.
a point, if we're real lucky, half a point, but probably that quarter of a point, that may not affect your interest rate from yesterday to that day, right? So the people that are currently in the market, they may not actually see that from a quote that they've already gotten from one of the lenders that we've hooked them up
It's
with.
probably going to stay fairly steady.
That'll stay steady. But what a good prediction is that it could, if the media has now said, hey, interest rates, the Fed's finally lowering interest rates, we get that consumer confidence of, there is some relief, because cost of living is gotten pretty extreme for a lot of people. When the Fed lowers that rate, that signals to them, that increases consumer confidence, that could drive more buyers into the market. Then suddenly that inventory that we're kind of now stacking up and feeling like, oh wow, we actually have more inventory than we've had in the last few years, that could start to dwindle pretty quick.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, guys, so this is all the good details that we have for you here. I mean, it's just like Jason just dives into these numbers, you guys, and really we know them inside and out, and so we can cater them to exactly your needs.
All we talk about.
That's right, I know. So reach out to Jason or myself. We're a phone call, text, or email away. We'll give you the stats that pertain to your budget, and we look forward to hearing from you.